Brad Johnson here, and in this video I have a very exciting topic where we're going to be talking about working with star and light languages. So with this video we're going to look more into the star language phenomena. Now there's been a lot of people who I've talked to, other people who I've also worked with, who have this really incredible adept ability of being able to channel light languages and star languages. Now, is there a difference between the two? Well, if we're looking firstly at the idea of star language, I'll just put star for short. So if we're looking at star language here, we're looking at something that may represent a particular type of dialect, something that's translatable within our own native language or within other languages that we consciously understand. It's a vast field in regards to star languages. There are so many different interpretations of star languages. A lot of people who I've spoken to have, again, all of these different degrees of star languages that come through. Now, if I was to basically demonstrate a particular star language that I'm familiar with, let's say, for example, Sirius. Okay, would I be able to demonstrate something in regards to a Sirius-based dialect? So if I go ahead and channel this, okay, there's something just very simple. Okay, again, just not even really giving it too much thought, just letting the symbols create themselves in that way. Now, there are so many different types. We could go to Arcturus, we could go to Pleiades, we could do everything. Sirius itself also has many different dialects in regards to its language. It all depends in regards to what you're connected to. How does this particular phenomenon work? We're firstly looking at star languages. What causes us to understand this type of language that comes through? Again, it can be through many means, but what is very common is the idea that these particular types of languages are mechanical, which means that they are uplinked, which also means that they are relayed to us and translated. So you can look at it in the idea of a one-way transmission. Okay, and again, there's many possibilities about how this is transmitted through us through a one-way relay. Why it's considered to be one-way relay is because we are just receiving the information. We're receiving the dialect that's coming together through Sirius, through Andromeda, through Arcturus, through anything that may be completely unnameable, doesn't have a label attached to it. It's just a very interesting star language, and people are able to look at this and they're able to translate it. So if I was to look into this and attempted to translate it, what would I be looking at? Okay, so this would represent a particular greeting. It also represents a blessing. In the simplest way, it would represent the idea of honoring the light body. Okay, so for this, I'm looking at this in a way that I'm just getting a rough translation in regards to what is being shared. I can really go deeper into it and get more information, pulling out its akasha and getting an understanding about what the transmission is all about. So we started kind of very simple here. Okay, this feels like a greeting. It feels like a blessing. It is about honoring the light body. Okay, so that's basically my own translation of this particular dialect when I channeled the Sirius label. Okay, now this is just, again, coming to me through a one-way transmission. It does feel mechanical, does feel like an uplink, it feels relayed to me, and so I'm basically receiving this particular transmission source. So coming to me here. Okay? So this would represent the idea of a foundation or a particular type of mechanic contained within the void. All right? So we're basically looking at this as a demonstration circuit that is being one-way relayed. So this can come through a crystalline consciousness, this can come through artificial intelligence, this can come through beings at times as well. There's many different ways, but what we are doing here is we're looking at a relayed-based thought form, and that this thought form is creating this particular type of language. So how does this get done? If people are looking at this the first time and saying, oh my goodness, star language, I've never even considered that. What is it? How does this get done? How does it happen? Well, again, a lot of it has to do with the open, trust, interpret process. So I've talked about this in previous videos as well. Okay, so if we're looking at these three key fundamentals, open, trust, and interpret, this is our foundation. These are the fundamentals to helping us opening up our consciousness, trusting the process, trusting the information that comes through, and then being able to interpret the information, which represents writing it down, putting it in some form of action principle to give it an understanding. Okay, so when you become a lot more adept in regards to open, trust, interpret, this is what I teach a lot about in the Psychic Academy, very advanced understandings in regards to this three key principle. It seems very easy, but there's a lot to it. And so this is really taught a lot more. But as we look into the open trust interpretation principle, as we got that down, now we're able to just channel labels, which means we can just write a name on the board and we're getting impressions. Okay, that may be impressions in regards to star language, that may be impressions in regards to symbols, visions that may come through. Everybody has a different way about looking into star language, okay? So again, coming back to the simple point, that if we're looking at star language here, we're looking at something that has a dialogue, something that's understandable, something that we can give some type of meaning to through our own basis of understanding language, okay? Now, what's the difference between star language and light language? Okay, so if I was to draw light out here, okay, for this particular type of light language itself. Now, light language, I'm going to go ahead and demonstrate this. Okay, here's a simple little column of light language here, or what's known as light circuitry, as I refer to it. Now, again, because it is referred to as light circuitry, that's kind of just a formality, so to speak. Sometimes when we're drawing out light language, when we're saying light language out loud, when we're getting the circuitry, it may not even look like a circuit. It may just look like a column of interesting symbols all put together. And that's fine as well too, but when we're actually utilizing this, it works together in the process of the subconscious like a circuit. So it's actually working within our bodies as a subconscious circuit. So even though this may seem maybe something like a hieroglyph or maybe something we've seen in ancient cultures, this has no direct translation in regards to dialect, in regards to meaning. What does this mean? Okay. There's no translation. There's no translation in regards to what light language, in this particular context, in the way that I'm presenting it here, can represent. What this is basically telling me is that this is something for DNA. This is something for neural circuitry. This is something for energy grids, which I'll just call E-grids. Okay, that's it. So in regards to how we are fundamentally downloading this information and bringing it on the board, some people may say, well, if I'm not able to translate what this means, should I really be messing with it? That's a good point. And that's something you really need to work together in trust. With me doing light language now for a couple of years, I've learned to trust the energy that comes through in regards to these light languages forms, because I've been able to utilize it and being able to integrate it myself, and it has only brought forth positive benefit. I've continued to use it over the last couple of years, and it has been phenomenal. It has been a great strengthening and expansion in regards to what I've done. Other people have asked just to say, I would like to try this. Go ahead and create a light language circuit. I would like to try it. I see that the benefits that you're going through with this. I would like to go ahead and try it as well. So I go ahead and I create them a circuit as well, and it benefits them greatly as well. Now, again, because you can't understand too much of the language, you understand its essence. Now, that would be the best way of putting it. In the way of why I use light language and sacred circuitry is because I understand the essence that's behind it. It's kind of like attempting to understand a feeling. When you are working with light language, when you're working with sacred circuitry, you feel the essence. You don't know quite what it means, but you know it's benevolent. You know it's a loving energy. You know it's very luminescent. You feel that particular energy. I can feel a very strong angelic presence with that particular type of circuit. Now that's just me. That's what I'm able to create here. That's what I'm able to feel, and that's what I'm able to produce. And again, through light circuitry, this is representing something that, to me, feels very, very positive, but not even the idea of polarity, but just looking at something that feels very harmonious to me. So when I'm looking at these, they're simple little symbols, something we can identify here as well. But they're giving us an indication that this is an essence that is helping to reconnect with an aspect of our soul, so to speak. It's like looking at a jigsaw puzzle picture with a few pieces missing. And when I look at this, I feel like there's a piece of the puzzle that's fitting into the mainframe. And again, this is what I do for others as well too, upon the service that I provide through my website, is that they say, yeah, I want to do this. We see how other people are benefiting from this. And here's the thing, out of the, I can't remember how many I've done, well, about 75 to 100 at least, of the light circuits. There has not been one negative result out of any of them. They've all been 100% fantastic. There's always been some really good feedback on a positive level pertaining to light circuitry. Some people feel that they may feel this very, very strongly. Some people may feel, well, I kind of got like a bit of a subtle change, but I'm still working on some things, and that's basically what it is. And a lot of this still is very much at the surface. Now, why is that? Why is it that, if a light circuit is being introduced to ourselves, a light language is being introduced to ourselves, why do we feel that we can't have that integration? Because the energy behind light language and sacred circuitry in the way that I do it is through negotiation. Okay? This is not forcing itself down a person's throat. Okay? That's not the energy that I create when I'm looking at a light circuit. When I'm looking at a light circuit, I'm feeling something of energetic diplomacy, energetic negotiation. It's working together with a person's energy, much like an angelic consciousness would. An angelic consciousness is not going to open up your mouth and shove a big light orb down your throat, right? It's not going to do that. It's going to simply be present, and it will work with you. It will assist you. It will negotiate with the particular energies for opportunities to show. And that's exactly the essence that I feel behind this. So all I can really speak for is my own particular type of light circuitry, light language, and sacred circuitry that continues to work in negotiation. Okay? But getting back to the point here is that here, in star language, we have something identifiable through meaning. Here, we have a good feeling of essence, but we're not too sure in regards to a direct translation in regards to meaning, relating to what this truly means. What is this? Well, it's a DNA code. It's neural circuitry code. It's energetic grid code. That's really the best way that we can put it. Sometimes we may get impressions. We may feel that there's something, within our frontal lobe that is going to be worked on with this particular circuit, or we may feel that it's something to do with the organs, or we may feel that, whatever else it is, something in our aura that's looking to be cleared, something in regards to thought form clustering. We're attempting to transcend and help to harmonize. Okay, so that's just giving us a very good impression here. And again, what really causes me to create these particular circuits is when I'm communicating with the client themselves, and they're telling me, well, Brad, I got a pretty bad feeling here in the organs, or maybe around my kidney, my liver, my lungs, etc. These areas are feeling like they're out of balance, and I would just like to get some light circuitry assistance with that. Great. So now that I know when I'm producing these, when they're coming through in regards to relay, that they are in relation to those areas. And that's basically how it works. So again, I'm getting impressions in regards to the purposes in some form relating to the criteria that is looking to be worked on. See? So that's light circuitry attunements. Okay? So, star language. Anybody can really do this. We're all connected to different aspects. One of my favorite questions in a session is that, right, can you tell me where my origin is? Where am I from? What am I doing here? What star do I hail from? And really the key is that each and every single one of us has the capability to channel many different stars, many different forms of civilizations that exist beyond our world. We all have the capability of it. We can certainly look into certain people's akasha, and we can look into seeing that, okay, I see some connections with Sirius, I see connections with Venus or Mars or Maldek, I see connections with Neptune, whatever it may be, right? There's connections there. There's sojourns that are happening there, right? And that's basically one particular premise. But again, understand that you are infinite in scale, and that you have been, an uncalculable form of energies spanning everywhere. But again, yes, there will be what's known as an inner circle relationship. So if we're looking at the center point here, representing our point on Earth, then we're looking into more of a belt that may represent maybe some of our elemental realms or elemental connections here on the planet. Then we start to go a little bit further. We start to look at some celestial connections, and there's certain forms of star systems or other dimensional realms as well here that can be the outer circle that we're able to connect to. And just kind of like the rings on a tree stump that we see, that's basically the representation of our own circle, our life circle, so to speak, as I refer to them. And we're just looking into the rings of relationship in regards to many different forms. So a lot of people say, "Right, just tell me I'm Pleiadian. Just tell me I'm Pleiadian." Okay, fine, you're Pleiadian. Yay! That's great, right? I was excited when I was first getting into this as well, too. I was hearing so much about the Pleiadians and saying, "Oh my goodness, I must be Pleiadian. Everything feels Pleiadian," all that stuff like that, right? And, you know, I do have a lot of associative connections with them. But it was more so that I have a very strong connection with Sirius and Arcturus. Right, so those are the two prime stars. And so I can feel that. But I'm also, over the years, feeling all these other connections in many different ways. I'm also feeling a lot of connections more so on the Earth plane, you know, more so in the astral planes. Again, it's vast. There's so much that we can explore. You know, our soul archive isn't boring by any means. It is vast, it is expansive, it's exciting to really look at that. But anyways, let's move on to, again, past the star language and the light language. Now, what can we do with these particular principles to benefit us here on Earth? With our human bodies, with our consciousness, with our mentality, what can we do? How do we implement a lot of these particular degrees into our life, into our bodies, and make it part of our reality? Well, these particular degrees can be anything. They can represent the idea of mental clarity. We can bring about more understanding of these particular star languages. Let's say, for example, that, okay, we'll use the Pleiadian example here, right? So I have Joe Blow here. Okay, and Joe Blow has given me a picture. All right, so here's a picture of Joe Blow right here. Here's his eyes, nose, big smile. And maybe he's got one eye there, and one eye there. Okay, very interesting picture. Make sure you look at him in the eyes when you talk to him. All right, very good. So, give him some hair. There we go. Give him kind of a frizzy beard, too. Some big ears. There we go. All right, there's Joe Blow. So, Joe Blow has given me his permission. You know, actually, it's not even about me. Let's just say this is Joe Blow himself, okay? He's given me his picture. Here's his name. All right, so Joe Blow is going to go ahead and say, hey, I feel energies from the Pleiades here. All right, and he's really started to work hard. He's done a lot of great effort working in bringing, you know, a lot of understanding in regards to his own consciousness. He's understanding the open trust interpret principle. And so now he's just written down the Pleiades here. And so now he's just going to go ahead and tap into that. He's going to tap into the Pleiades and just see what kind of symbol comes through. And again, you're just running the connection, right? So you just tap into that symbol. Maybe that involves closing your eyes and just feeling a symbol that comes through, okay? So what I'm getting here is that. Okay, there's something. Now he comes running to me, Brian, I don't know, I just created that. You know, that looks pretty lame. You know, I don't know, I was expecting something more sophisticated, more advanced, etc. This, in that sense, can be a very valuable connection that you created. It may seem something very simple, may feel just, you know, didn't feel too dynamic at all, but that's something that's giving you the idea of a connection. So you can play around with this. You can work together with what you're feeling, what Joe Blow feels about the Pleiades, and he's getting interpretations as well. So now he has the Pleiades, now he'll start subcategorizing here. I would really like to have a type of symbol that I can integrate within myself to receive downloads when I go to sleep. Oh, okay. So as I feel this really strong connection with the Pleiades, I was able to run with this energy, and I was able to use this circuit, and I had these profound dreams overnight. I had like this Pleiadian contact. It felt really great just by using that symbol. So now I'm going to take it a step further. Now I'm going to go ahead and tap into the Pleiades here, again, the Pleiadian energy, and I'm going to ask for a download symbol. Okay, this is again just an example. We're going to look more into downloads here in just a minute. But when we get into the Pleiades, we're looking into a download here. So I'm going to put one hand here. Okay, I'm going to feel the energy of the Pleiadians. I feel that energy within me right now, and I'm asking right now my Pleiadian guides to provide a download symbol. Okay, so one is coming through. All right, there's my download symbol. Now, what can I do with this? As much as you want. As much as you want. Whatever that may be. That may be looking into different forms of, whatever it is, whatever you feel is pulling you into things that you want to know about. Maybe I want to learn more about the Pleiadian star language that I'm channeling. Okay, so we're going to take Joe Blow's picture right here, and this is going to be officially his hologram. Okay, so he's going to write down, download, I'll just put SL, but you can write it up fully, download star language, okay, from the Pleiades, and I can put Pleiades down here, right? And now we're going to repeat that particular symbol, just in the way that it was drawn before. Okay. Now this is given a particular connection for Joe and his hologram, again his own unique photo, to actually receive a download relating to more Pleiadian star language, right? So when he goes to sleep at night, he puts this piece of paper underneath his pillow, and he goes to sleep. He wakes up the next morning, and he's feeling some things. It doesn't mean it's all going to come at once, but he's feeling something. So he comes back into the Pleiades, and now he just taps into that language. Okay, and now he's starting to draw these kind of interesting hieroglyphs. And now he's able to make sense of these particular hieroglyphs. He's actually receiving what's coming through. He's getting transmissions. All right. It may even come further past the idea that the star languages are going to have this here, and then he'll be able to write out a bunch of dialect right here, okay, relating to what's coming through. It may just be a few simple symbols, and he's able to write paragraphs of information. This is very genuine. This is something that can happen. This is definitely something that I've worked with relating to download symbols. Okay. Now, download symbols doesn't have to originate from star language at all, okay? That's certainly an option if you want to play with that. But really what it just entails is that we can look into, again, other particular forms of downloads through the idea of a permission slip. So again, this symbol here is just giving us a permission slip. I'm not saying that you have a 1,000-page encyclopedia, you draw your download symbol in that book, you put that under your bed, and all of a sudden the next morning you understand the entire encyclopedia. Okay? It may not work together in that particular fashion. Why doesn't that work? Well, because again, we have to look into permissions. We also have to look into free will, right? So if we're looking in regards to our outer surface, in regards to our core, in regards to our mantle, for example, in regards to energy, we have little bits of pockets of energy that we're able to actually squeeze in, okay? Free will is actually preventing us from going into a lot of these particular forms of download states to just say that we can, quote unquote, cheat past free will and just, being able to download an entire encyclopedia overnight and start to do that, right? So we have the free will barrier here, right? So we have to, again, know ourselves and finding out what are the areas of the gaps here. Well, I'm looking more into the idea of alchemy. I want to look more into alchemy. I want to explore that. And I feel like there's a gap that can come in there for me to get more of an understanding pertaining to alchemy. Okay, great. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to grab my download symbol here. Just one I'm creating off the bat. Okay, just say that I was able to tap in to my own subconscious, to my own higher self, to my own guides, whatever it may be. Just like what we did here for the Pleiades, right? So we may tap in and saying to my higher self, okay, I would like to tap in, I would like to receive a download symbol. There's my download symbol. And I want to bring more understanding of alchemy into my life as well. Now, doesn't mean that we're going to do a matrix, we're going to plug or jack ourselves into the back of the throat, the back of the neck, I should say, and just, and I'll say, oh my God, I know everything there is to know about alchemy. No, it doesn't work that way, okay? What this basically does is that it creates dominant thought form that encourages you to explore more of the area that you perceive would be of interest, okay? So it's representing the idea that the download is bringing in thoughts of great clarity, and your focus is now upgraded, right? You can look into the idea that deep focus is coming through. Again, there's so much misunderstanding in regards to how the download symbol works, okay? Everybody has their own download symbol, okay? But it's not the matrix, okay? It's not just plugging yourself in, right, and getting this information. It does not work that way. In all the circuits I've created, that has never happened, okay? So I just want to put that out there right now. What this does is that this helps to create a clustering effect, okay? Or this is also what's known as packeting, okay? So we're basically creating a packet. So what the packet involves is basically arranging a particular degree of thought form or thought forms, which I'll just call TFs, and this becomes the dominant factor within our minds. Our focus is so powerful relating to this particular topic, such as alchemy, that we can't wait to get started. We're getting into everything. Our focus is so sharp. We're able to get, all of this type of information assimilated so quickly, right? It may in some ways also relate to the idea that you are getting some type of subconscious packets that are coming through that can open themselves up further and quicker through a quickening, through what we are able to discover if we were to, example, use something with alchemy and looking more into alchemy and saying, oh, okay, great. I'm getting these feelings of just open boxes. All of these boxes are just opening up as I'm starting to explore more with alchemy, right? That's great. This is how I woke up. This is exactly my awakening process. Now, I didn't know about sacred circuitry. I didn't know about light language when I first started. But what happened is that I was manifesting packets. Okay, so this is just what I refer to as packets. Okay, this is the result in regards to finding a very strong interest in regards to my whole concept of spirituality, consciousness, metaphysics. That was my highest interest, connecting with channeling, looking into energy healing. And, being able to now finally explore these particular areas, I was able to, again, create packets and look into this a lot further. Okay, that's how it's done. I could really talk about this for a very, very long time, but I think this video is getting up on close to half an hour, so I don't want to be too long. But again, basically what this is saying is that tap into the energy that you prefer and connect in regards to that particular download symbol. And that download symbol is going to help you connect through packets that will assist you in having a new directed focus to looking more into that particular area of study. As you start to study that area more of these energies in your subconscious will start to open up. It's kind of like a blossoming flower. And all of these petals are starting to unfold now, and you're getting more information. Okay. So again, we're going to talk more about this in this next video. But again, looking into star language, into light language, that's basically the difference between the two, all in all. And again, we'll be looking more into packets and downloads in a future video. All right. Thank you so much for watching. I'm Brad Johnson, and I will talk to you again soon. Namaste. May it be well with you. Take care.